You might have to go to, yeah, there's a new video, I think. Yo. Yo. Is this... Are we on the air? Does it say I'm live? It's on the same video? Alright, so what do you see? Because I don't even see that video. What the fuck? So I'm gonna just let me know if the stream delay is there or if it's as bad. So print strings, like we said earlier, print is a function. When you're printing something, you can print different things like variable strings, integers, and things like that, but we're going to talk about strings. String is just a data type. When you have a string, it is... Oh, okay, that's a decent delay. Yeah. So strings are a data type that basically is like a sentence. You could think of it like that. So if I have print Julian, it'll print literally just Julian. I put Julian with what is that, a colon, so it would say Julian is cool. And if I reprint that, it'll update to Julian is cool. You can use strings with single quotes or double quotes like this. So if I say like print example 1, and then if I say this is print example 2, you see how I comment things out? When you're commenting things out, if you comment a piece of your code out, it will just be like it's nullified. So I can comment things around what I want to actually do, and it's still going to be like valid. So both of these are use two different forms of quotes, single and double, and it just yields like the same thing. I think it's best to use... They're going to talk about when you're supposed to use single quotes over double quotes. I think it's just like the hashtag things are what create comments. So like if I say like the first line says print Julian is cool, you see how I delete the hashtag and then it's still like it's there, like it's not grayed out. When it's grayed out, basically the program's gonna ignore that entire line. It's gonna think of it like a comment. So like in this, I would say like, hey people in the chat, what's up? And this will not affect my code. Like I can say whatever, it's not gonna affect the code at all. But if I was to take that hashtag away, it's gonna give me an error because it's like this isn't even Python programming structure, so this is wrong. But got it. If I'm going too fast or too slow, let me know, bro. All right. Damn. Does it keep everything I did? All right. So variables. Variables are. Can I clear this? How do I clear it? Oh. All right. So basically, variables are when you assign. You have a variable. It's something that you would assign to another value, just like in math. So you said like x is equal to 14. Wherever I reference the term x, it'll be equal to 14. You can store different things in variables, though. For example, you can store strings, like we just said. We could store integers. We could store floats. Just different types of. Yeah, so like, so if you say message on, also when you're dealing in Python, you can't just like, especially when it comes to variables or anything, use underscores instead of spaces because it'll just like it would treat, like if I said method message string and there's a space in between it, it's gonna give me an error because it doesn't recognize that as a variable. Yeah. Also, you can't capitalize a variable too. This is a message that will be printed when it is called. So if I have message string is equal to the string, this is a message that will be printed when it is called. If I say print message string, also keep in mind when I'm calling to a variable, I do not put it in quotes. I'm just gonna say print the variable. So print message string plus message string. This should ultimately make me print out the same message string variable twice. So if I think I gotta comment this out. So when I print message string, it'll say this is a message that will be printed when it is called, and then it immediately does it again with no space because, oh yeah, that's the actual like portion of it. I'm gonna start talking more so about these now, but that's basically the gist of a variable. But let's look at exactly what we have here. Variables can't have spaces or symbols in their names other than underscores. They can't begin with numbers, but they can have numbers in it, like how you can say cool variable 5 with underscores and 5 being last, but you can't start with that. It's no coincidence that we call variables blah 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 blah. So like for example, this is the comment says greeting, so the person that knows this knows that this is a greeting. If we say message string is equal to hello there, print message string, the greeting will be printed as, or when I print message string, it'll say hello there. And if I then say message string is equal to hasta la vista, and then I print message string, it would print hasta la vista. So you see like where it says greeting and all that stuff, right? So why do I not see the viewer count for my stream? Where's my stream? Kicked me. Like what the hell? Oh, I do not hear my music either. Do you hear background music? Oh, I do hear it. Never mind. Okay. Let me turn that down a little. All right. Yeah. So it says greeting. Greeting is just the comment, so you can kind of ignore it in terms of the production of your program or like what's actually gonna show. But this is the greeting. We say greeting is equal to message. Well, greeting is message string. Message string is the string hello there. When you print message string that initial time, it'll print hello there. But then we update the variable message string to being hasta la vista. So when I print it the second time, it would print hasta la vista. So it would print hello there, and then it'll print hasta la vista. It was updated on this line. So like think of it like message string, like let's think of message string as like an actual person. So I gave message string the string hello there, and then I said now print this string. Now it prints the string, and then when I go to message string again, I say all right, message string, you you have the string hasta la vista. And then when I tell you to print the string, you're gonna print hasta la vista because that's the last one that you have. So it's technically like overriding the previous save. That's the way to think of it. Yeah, since it's grayed out, it's like completely ignored in a way. That's more so for the people that are reading it. For example, like when I'm over here and I'm saying like, all right, let's do this. It says print breakfast. Well, meal is a variable. Meal is an English muffin. It says print breakfast, colon. So it'll print breakfast and then it'll print an English muffin. That's why if we look to the right, I would say like it would print breakfast, then print meal. Now, if I want to update meal to be lunch, what do we want to eat for lunch? Bacon, egg, and cheese. It's all one word. So if I then say like, all right, my meal variable is going to be updated to be bacon, egg, and cheese. After I printed this first English muffin, the second time meal's printed, it should print as lunch. Well, it would print as bacon, egg, and cheese. So I print breakfast, that's why it says breakfast here, and then it says an English muffin. Then I print lunch, and then it prints bacon, egg, and cheese. Because on this, the next thing that happens is printing lunch and then printing what meal is, and meal currently is bacon, egg, and cheese. Now if I scroll down, I say meal is equal to what is dinner? Shrooms. And we're eating shrooms for dinner. Mushrooms. If we're eating mushrooms for dinner, it'll print dinner because that's hard coded in as the string dinner, and then it'll print meal, the last thing that meal was updated to, which is mushrooms. So this should print the breakfast being an English muffin, lunch is being a bacon, egg, and cheese, and dinner being mushrooms. Do you understand? Copy. Alright, next. Errors. Basically, errors. There are different types of errors in Python. An error is kind of self-explanatory. It's when you fuck up. When you fuck up, it tells you. There are two common types of errors. There are name errors and syntax errors. The definitions are right here. Syntax error basically means like your code is not written properly. Like you probably didn't indent somewhere because like indentation is like very crucial and things like that. Or like you capitalized something by accident or something. Oh no, I'm lying. That's not a syntax error. But like, let's say you use something incorrectly, that'll go to syntax error. But I have to charge my computer because this is gonna die. But a name error is when Python sees a word and just doesn't understand it. So like, if I randomly try to use like zwart, if I just say zwart out of nowhere and it's not like dedicated as a variable, or it's not declared as something like that's easily digestible, or like something that is obviously in the program, it's just like random. Yeah. If I say, wait, what did you just say? Let me write that out. So if I say print zwart and I didn't declare zwart as to be a variable, it'll give me an error. It'll be a name error because what is zwart? Zwart isn't something that was defined. Yeah, because now it's looking for the variable zwart, and that variable zwart was never. Yeah, he's getting it. But if I was to say print zwart in the quotations, it'll print zwart. Yeah. But if I say, what you said, zwart is equal to muffins, muffins, print the variables were. Yeah, but if I was to do this, this still would print. Oh, that messed up because I messed up my code. That would print regular zwart. So you'll encounter a name error if you try to print a single word string but fail to put any quotes around it like we just did, and you just have to define what you're using. So I think you pretty much understood this idea. Next. Numbers, your favorite. So Python has a few different types of numbers or data types when it comes to understanding numbers. Int is just a number that talks about whole numbers. So if I'm talking about the numbers, yeah, int is short for integer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All integers. 0 is also an integer, and all the negative counterparts, so -1, -2, -3, -4, so on and so forth. All of those will be integers. Yeah, when using a random number generator, like randit. Getting it. So, what was I doing? Float. Float is basically decimal. That's the way I always thought of it. Like when you ever have a float, if I want to talk about temperature and I say like it's 10 degrees outside, I can say the integer is 10. But if I was to say like I'm gonna do something over here. Whoa, look at this. So if I say the temp is equal to 15, I don't have to put it in quotes because it's not a string. We're dealing with a different data type or a different type. Yes, data type. We're dealing with integers, so I don't need quotes. Only strings need quotes. So if I say temp is equal to 15 and I say print temp, it'll print 15. Now if I say temp is equal to 15.0 and I also do print temp, it'll do 15.0. Later down, I think it's data type temp, data underscore type. Do I need to do something with this? Is it just type? Print type temp float. Yeah. So if I print the type of data that temp is, it'll tell me that temp is a float. Do you see that? But if I was to have 15 and not 15.0, it'll say it's an integer. Yeah. Now there's certain instances where it's like you cannot use integers or you cannot use like decimals or floats. One thing also, the way you remember float just stands for floating point number, and that basically means like it's a decimal, but you also can like decide how many decimal points you want. So it's like a floating integer or floating point number. But back to what I was saying before that, when it comes to having integers and floats, if we're talking about money, you obviously want to float because there's going to be change involved and things like that. But if you're talking about like I don't know, people, you would use integer because you wouldn't have a half a person. Yeah. So that's the gist of that. Now, numbers can be assigned to variables or used literally in a program, like we said. So like if I say the temperature is 15 or 27, and then I say the temperature, if I say temp plus 4 and I want to print that, so I want to print the temp plus 4, temperature plus 4, which is 31. This is 27 plus 4. So I'm integrating, like, I'm adding the temperature and the variable 4. The problem is, I think, if I do, oh, never mind. Yeah. So, like, I would just change the variable, and it's like, it's no matter what, variable plus 4 would give me what I'm printing out. If I did this, it would be 27 plus 4. Oh, can I not? Oh, stupid. So, yeah, when I do temperature, temp plus 4, temp is a variable that we said is an integer. Now, plus, when I'm dealing with integers, normally is adding. So I can't add a string to that. So I can't add the sentence 4 to the number 27. But I can add the number 4 to the number 27. So previously, like what I had before, the error message was telling me that I'm trying to use a unsupported operand type. Basically, I'm using plus for an integer, which was temp, and a string. You can't do that. So they have to be the same data type when they're interacting on that level. Same thing with float. So it says like float and string can't go together. Do you understand? Any questions? Perfect. All right. Let's go back over here. So in this example, they say an int is 2, a float is 2.1. If they print an int, it's going to be 2 plus 3, which would give them 5. Damn, let me actually... So this says that a recent movie-going experience has you excited to publish a review, rush out to cinema, and hastily begin programming to create your movie review website. The big screen's greatest scenes decided by a machine. Create the following variables and assign integer numbers to them. So I have to create the variable release year. Let's just say the movie came out in 2012. And the runtime, is it a string they want? I'll just say 2. Oh wow, that was an accident. Let's just say it's 2. Now it says that was basically me creating the variables release and runtime, release year and runtime. I can say the runtime is 2.0, that's fine. The release year, it wouldn't make sense if I said it was 2012.0 and have it afloat. It makes more sense to be an integer in that case. Now it says create a rating out of 10 and assign it a float number between 1 and 10. So if I have the variable rating out of 10, I'm gonna assign it to 7 out of 10, so 7.0. So I assign my release year and runtime both to be integers, and my running rating out of 10 to be a float 7. Any questions? Perfect. Okay. Calculations. Calculations basically like run exactly how we just spoke about them before. It's still basic math, so it follows like math principles, same like PEMDAS, like all of that. So if I say like print, and I say print 10 times 5 minus 1, it'll do the order of operations. We know that multiplication comes before subtraction. So actually, let me do this. 10 minus 1. Yes, please excuse your onset. So if we have 10 minus 1 times 5, we have to do the multiplication first. So minus, I think it'll just do 1 times 5, because I think this is -1. Yeah, so it'll do -1 times 5, which would give me -5, and then 10 minus -5 should give me +15. Yeah. But, because you see when it's separate. Oh, okay. Yeah. So basically it's saying like all of that is the same thing. If I were to have a variable and I said this is a math problem, problem is equal to, just copy this, then I would say if I said that math problem was equal to 10 minus -1 times 5, that is my variable math problem, and it took all of like basically the calculations, and then when I print the calculations, or when I print the variable math problem, it does the calculation, gets the answer. Basically, think of the variable is saving the answer to the problem that's on the right. So that's why math problem is literally equal to all these calculations, and when I do all these calculations, it's 15. So math problem is just going to print 15. Now, we can perform basic arithmetic, which is the key takeaway from this part. I think it's print 10 divided by 5. 10 divided by 5 is it prints as an integer. When you perform division, it prints as an integer because Python converts all integers to floats before performing division. In older versions, it did not happen. Basically, it turns it into a float when you're doing basic division. Now the actual task for us to complete to move forward is saying print out 25. Let's do it a better way. So math problem is our variable. The math problem will be saved to 25 times 68 plus 13 divided by 28. Just make it look nicer. Now if I go print math problem, I think this should not tell me I'm right. Oh, it is. Okay. So it did all the the addition, it did everything, but since there's division in it, it automatically goes to a float, just because we said earlier when you're dividing integers, it automatically converts to a float. So if you do a whole lot of calculations and there's one division in it, it's all going to be turned into a float. Any questions? All right, changing numbers. Let me reset this. Yeah, what's your question? What do you mean? They're integers. Yeah. No. As soon as you're talking about in terms of multiplication. Oh, before you would have to run your answer. You would have to identify certain parts of your problem as being floats or integers. You would say float 25, and then if I say x is equal to float 25 print x, this would give me 25.0. So I would you're able to hard code an integer to be a float, or hard code a float to be an integer, and you would have to just do that for the specific parts. So if I said, oh, if I said integer is 25.0, print x, you see how it takes the float 25.0 but converts it to a integer. Since we are talking about that, you can also do this with a string. So if I say string, yo, you hear me now? Yo, do you hear me now? Alright. So just like when it comes to integers or floats, you can do this with strings. So string, instead of you just put str for string, this takes the float 25, and if I run this, it'll run print 25.0, which is technically coming out as a string. Like I can technically do this. Would this work? No, that would mess it all up. 29.0 numbers. It converts the float into a string, and then I can do something like print 25 plus x, and instead of us adding it, like, what do you think this answer should be just by looking at it? If it was if it was two floats, you would get 50.0, yeah. But since I converted the float 25 to being a string, and then I'm saving that as x, when I'm referring to x, it's referring to this as a string. So that I would just put print 25 plus x should print 25 and then 25 again. Just like before, remember when we like said my favorite food is my meal or something like that? It treats it like that because it's a string now. Nah. But if I change this back to an integer, this would give me an error because I'm trying to put a string with a float. With an integer. But if I remove this and it's now just the number 25 plus the integer 25, I would get 50. Basically, you want to think of it like a string is a sentence. You can't so it will be a sentence and then add whatever the variable x is, just place that next to it. So, like, you want me to put this as pi? I think this technically would work. Wait, no. 3.15. Not necessarily just pi, because in this exact program, since I didn't import pi, there's a way you can import pi, so like when I type pi, it thinks of it like 3.14, but this is just what? Oh. That wouldn't work because pi, P-I-E, isn't a different data type for me to convert it into a string. So before, basically, think of it like if your string is peeking into the parentheses and saying, all right, what's the data type inside of the parentheses? And if that is a data type I can recognize, I will then convert it into a string. So if it's a number like 25 by itself with no parentheses is a number, with no quotations is a number. 25 with quotations is a string or a sentence. So if I'm string and I'm looking into the parentheses and I see the number 25, I'm going to convert that into a string, and then I'm going to save that as x. So when I refer to x is going to be the string 25. String is a sentence, yeah. So now when I print 25, or I'll put that as 35. If I print 35, the string 35 plus x is the string 25, I should get 3525. Do you get it? Well, yeah, this string one is gonna come up like later. We'll get better with that one. But do you understand like the int and the float one? Okay, all right. So let's see what this says. Variables that are assigned numeric values can be treated the same as the blah 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 blah. Two variables can be added together, divided by 2, and multiplied by a third variable without Python distinguishing the variables and literals, like the number 2 in this example. Performing arithmetic on variables does not change the variable. You can only update a variable using the equal sign. So if coffee, let's just look at this. It says coffee price is $1.50. The float $1.50. The variable coffee price is equal to $1.50 or 1.50. The number of coffees is equal to 4. So if we are printing the coffee price times the number of coffees, I would be printing 1.5 times 4. 1.5 times 4 would give me 6. That's why it says print 6 up here, just to save us the time. If I print coffee price is still 1.50. If I print number of coffees, that is still 4, because those didn't change. We just said, all right, print what the result if I multiplied those two. Now, if I update the price right here, like we said earlier, I'm basically overriding the previous coffee price from being $1.50 to $2. So now if I were to run the same sequence of code that we had here, like $2 times number of coffees, which is 4, it would be 2 times 4, which would give me 8. And then the coffee price is still 2, and the number of coffees is still 4. Cool. All right, so let's get to this activity portion. It says you've decided to get into quilting. To calculate the number of squares you'll need for your first quilt, let's create 2 variables, quilt width, and the quilt width is 8 inches, and then quilt length is equal to 12. Now if I print, it says I need to print the number of squares I need to create the quilt. That is me printing the quilt width times the quilt length, and that should give me 96. It turns out that quilt, that's not proper English. It turns out that quilt required a little bit more material that you got in hand. Let's only make 8. Let's only make the quilt 8 squares long. How many squares long? So I would change this basically to 8. And now 8 times 8 is 64. So like I can update it like how I just did, or like I can do this quilt, which is stupid to me, but quilt length equals 8, and then do that, and then it would still give me, spell it down now. It'll give me 64 because this basically overwritten the previous one. Chat, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, they can't even hear you. I gotta make it so they can hear you too. This would be better. Alright, so we talked about like basic arithmetic, like PEMDAS, but the E in PEMDAS is since we don't use this kind of thing. Basically, when you're dealing with exponents, you're gonna just use this star twice. So if I do 6 by 6, that's 6 squared. So the way you would think about it, it's 2, the stars are like to the 10th power, so like 2 to the 10th power is 2 double star 10. 8 to the 8 squared, or 8 to the 2nd power is 8 double star 2. So if I have a 6x6 quilt, I'm gonna print 6 double star 2 because that's 6 times 6 because it's 6 squared. So that would do that. And then print 7 squared. Print 8 squared. And then it will print all of those. Also, you can save these just like we saved other things. I can say z is equal to 6 squared, and I can say x is equal to 7 squared, and I can say Wendy's is equal to 8 squared. All of those could be saved and then like later accessed in bigger pieces of code. Now, if let's scroll down, it says your 6x6. So all I did just. If you want to do something to the half power, it's still the same thing. You just do 4 times or start twice and then 0.5. You can have like integers as well as floats in this. So I can have like 7 point. I wasn't asking for that. Print 7.5 squared. Like even though this is a float, it would still work. Does it still want me to do this? I'll change all these back. So the exercise was for us to basically hard code all these in like this, but then it says that your 6x6 quilt has taken off so well. 6 people have requested 6 quilts each. Print out how many tiles you need to make 6 quilts for 6 people. So I need 6 6x6, right? So, right. I think it would be, I'm gonna print, so 6 people want 6, so 6 times, 6 times, I'm pretty sure this still works, 6 by 2. Oh, I'm stupid. Yeah, I could have do 6 to the third. The 6 times 6 to the second is the same thing as 6 to the third. 6 to the third. Print, open, 6 to the 3. I don't need any of that. Wait, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. It says that 6 to the third will yield 6, 6 by 6, but all 6 people have to do 6 by. So 6 times 6 to the third? That's 6 times 6 to the third, and that's 6 to the fourth. Am I quizzy? Yeah, it's 6 to the fourth. 6 times 6 to the 6. Any questions so far? Perfect. Next, modulus. It's one of those things where people would see it in the programming and be like, what the fuck? Yo? You hear me? Yeah, just because it looks so funky, but basically what modulus is like, what's the remainder? So if I say like 29 modulus 5, print 29 modulus 5. That's modulus, bro. You gotta get that out your brain. Yeah, it is a percent sign. Oh, but yeah. If I do 29 modulus 5, I know that 5 goes into 29 5 times with a remainder of 4, so this would give me 4. Because 5 times 5 is 25, and then I can't get another one, so the remainder is 4. Same thing, something like this, 32 modulus 3 would give you a remainder of 2, because 33 goes into 32 10 times, and then a remainder, so on and so forth. You're trying to divide a group into 14. Wait, do you have any questions about this? Alright. you're trying to divide a group into 4 different teams. All of you count out. Person 1 goes to team 1. Person 2 goes to so all right, your person number 27. Find out what your team. All right, so 27 by 4. That's it. 27 mod 4. My team is equal to. Same thing when it comes to like the previous version, like arithmetic, like multiplication, exponents that we talked about so far. You can like save the answer to whatever to a variable. So my team is being saved to like the answer of 27 modulus 4. Did you understand why I did 27 modulus 4? So there's 27 people. There's 27 people and they're groups of 4. So if I'm the 20, well, there's a certain amount of people, but I'm the 27th person. So if it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then goes back to 1, then I know that if every team is full so far, so like if I divided the 27 people up by 4, those are all in set teams. That means 25, well, 24 goes into 24. Yeah, 4 goes into 24. So I would have 6 teams already that are full, and then the 7th team starts with person number 25, who is on team 1, person number 26, who is on team 2, and person number 27, who is on team 3. So it's basically trying to see, like, the remainder tells you what team you're on. Yeah, so like if this was 26, I know that if I was the 26th person, print my team. Print. If I was the 26th person, print my team. It would tell me I'm on team 2. Since I'm the 27th person, I'm on team 3. Food for thought. What number team are the 2 people next to you on? So what team is the person that is 26 on? Yep. So, if I'm 26th person, I'm on team 2, and if I'm the 28th person, I am on team 4. Yeah. It says 0 just because 4 evenly goes into 28. So, like, if I was the first person, 1 mod 4 is team 1, and 2, and then 3, and then 4. No, he's on team 4. If you're on team 4, if you're 0, that means you're team 4. So if I'm the 8th person, because there's no remainder, I'm on team 4. If I'm the 16th person, you're on team 4. That means if you are the 444th person, you are on team 4. Any questions? Good. See, breezing through it. Concatenation. Concatenation is, I spoke to you about it a little earlier. Yo, you hear me? Okay, basically, concatenation, the operator doesn't just add 2 numbers. Basically, it's like, let's just look here and then I'll talk through it. If I say greeting text, the variable greeting text is equal to the string, hey there. The variable question text is equal to the string, how are you doing? The variable full text is equal to the variable greeting text, which we said is hey there, plus, or concatenate, it's basically like you putting 2 things together. Question text. Question text is also, yep. Yeah, So this is question text. So this should say, hey there, how are you doing? Just like that, back to back. There's no spaces after this. He's a genius. Alright. Now if we say full, like this is the same thing I was talking about earlier. If I say full text, like we said earlier, is equal to greeting text, concatenate or plus, and this is just an empty string with a space. So that just creates this space that's right here. So greeting text plus space plus question text takes greeting text, which we know is hey there, plus the space, and then it takes question text, which we know is how are you doing. So print full text, and full text will give me that. Any questions? Yeah, I stored the concatenation of two variables into the third variable full text. Yeah, just you putting the two things together. Concatenation normally, well, it deals with like things that aren't like arithmetic types, because obviously, like it would just add it if it was 5 plus 3. If it was like string 5 and string 3, it would do 5 plus 3, not 8. Okay, if you want to concatenate a string with a number, you will need to make it first a string first. This is what I was talking about, the str function. So if I get something and I str it and put it, if it's not a string and I place something that is other data type inside of this function str, it will convert that previous data type to being a string. For example, if I have birthday string is equal to the string, the variable birthday string is equal to the string I am, and the variable age is equal to the, what type of thing is this? Actually, can you read it for me, bro? This portion? So if, yeah, keep going. Yeah. So since I turned since I turned the variable age, which was containing the integer 10, since I converted that to a string, it's if I had it as like 10. So it's not gonna like add it. So it's just gonna read it off like these are all strings. So now when I print full birthday string, it will say I am 10 years old. You also can do it like this, which is the way that I learned originally. You can just like do birthday string, a comma, and then put the variable regardless of the data type, and then put another comma, and then type birthday string, and then it will put it all together without running into that error. But knowing how to do this pays off later down the line. So now, yeah. So now it says using string, we can convert variables that are not strings to strings and then concatenate them, but we don't need to convert a number to a string for it to be an argument in a print statement. Now the task is for us to concatenate the strings and save the message they form into a variable message. Now uncomment the print statement. So we're supposed to just do Siri, no thank you. So we're supposed to just have the variable message be equal to string 1 plus happens to be the variable message, and then I print that variable message. Any questions? Perfect. All right. Plus equals. There's basically a shorthand way to like update variables. So if I want to say like, let's just look at this. It says that first we had a variable saved with a number, so number of miles hiked was 12, and now they want to add another 2 miles to that. Instead of me saying number of miles hiked plus 2, I can say number of miles hiked plus equals 2. So, it's cool. Basically, how I mentally think of like plus equals 2. So, I'm just saying the variable on my left, I'm going to update the variable on my left by adding 2 to it. So, the variable is just adding 2. So it'll now update to 14. So it says, but the thing about this, I can theoretically, if I put this down 5 times, it'll go 14, 16, 18, 20, so on and so forth. Yeah, so if I were to like hard code this in, so if I had like if I said people is equal to 10, and then I say people plus equals 2, and then I do the same previous line of code a couple times, for as many times I would do it. So like right now, this is what? This is 12, this is 14, and this is 16, this is 19, and then this is 20. So now when I print people, it would say it's 20. We get into like loops and shit, this is like very, 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 very handy. But do you understand like the plus equal basis? Oh. So it's like if I was to say like, can I do this? We'll just do this. So the plus equal operand can be used for string concatenation. Say what? So height caption is equal to what an amazing time to walk through nature, and then almost forgot the hashtags. So now it's basically saying I can have people equal to that's crazy, the string that's crazy, and then I can say people plus equal nah facts, and then I can say people plus equal he's bugging, and then when I go print people, that's what people did. So it had a name error because I didn't name it properly. But now that I have people is equal to that's crazy, and then plus equal, so it's basically like adding on to the previous thing as opposed to rewriting it like what we were accustomed to. So it'll plus equal not facts, and then it'll plus equal again he's bugging, and then when I print people, it'll actually contain all 3 of these statements. So reason why this is extremely handy is for something like this. So this entire our problem or our task is we're doing a little bit of online shopping and find a pair of new sneakers right before checkout. We spot a nice sweater and some fun books we also want to purchase. Use the plus equal operator to update the total price to include the number of the prices of nice sweater and fun books. So when you're dealing with something like a receipt, receipts have running totals. You might want to keep all those different running totals isolated. So like, let's say if you have like a honey bun, a bacon, egg, and cheese, and an Arizona iced tea, you have all of those set up, and then somebody comes and adds a stick of gum, you can add the stick and gum to the running total price. So like, it's gonna just keep updating. So it's like, all right, so we were at $5 before, but now since you added a piece of gum, it's gonna be at $7 because that I'm plus equaling 2 to the previous bill, which was 5. So it's good to have something like that for a running record. And another way of thinking, well, when we get more like deeper into things, instead of saying like plus equal like facts or plus equal like he's bugging, you can say plus equal and set that thing to being a variable that you are like dealing with somewhere else. So like you can say like for example, the same thing with like the bacon, egg, and cheese and stuff like that. Let's say if you have all that food and then you're like, all right, I want to update that total to being like $5 less than this. So I would say it's $5 less than the price of a turkey sandwich or something like that. Let's just say like that's the way it was set up, because a lot of programs get like that, like intricate when it comes to like real life scenarios. So it's good to have like that as an option. Yo, you hear me? My mic blew up again. Yo. I don't get it. All right. So total price. What am I supposed to be doing? Total price equals 50. New sneakers equals total price is 0. So this is a good way. Total price starts as 0. My new sneakers are $50. If I say my total price plus equal new sneakers, that means right now my total price is $50. Do you follow? So now if I say nice sweater is $39 and fun books is $20, I can just update my total price. So total price, what should I say? I could say plus equals 39. I could do that. That would add 39. But 39 is a nice sweater. And I know that nice sweater is a variable that is saved to 39. So I can also do plus equal nice sweater. Yeah. So like that also leaves nuance for like, let's say if nice sweater was, instead of it being nice sweater is equal to new sneakers minus 19. That's still 39. But let's just say, what you said, bro? Yes. What? Yeah. So like, that's just what is referred to as like hard coding. So like that exact way that we had it before. Like if I said nice sweater was 39. This would only work when nice sweater is 39. But let's just say on the back end, nice sweater, if I want to change, they're having a sale. Now nice sweater is 30. That means I would have to go to this part of my code and change this to 30, when in actuality, I just have to change nice sweater to 30. And now if I have 200 lines of code, I think it's easier to just change nice sweater to third. Yeah. So now if I say total price plus equal nice sweater, so it's gonna add 39 to the previous 50, and then if I say what's 39 plus 50, 89, and then if I say total price plus equal fun books, it's gonna add $20 to the previous 89. So now my total price, if I say print, the function print is gonna print the string the total price is, then I put comma, because I can just put a comma and then put total price. It should give me $109. So it should say the total price is 109.00 because we're dealing with float numbers. Boom. Alright. Multi-line strings. Yay. This is my least favorite part of this first shit. It's just something that I never found a real need to ever use. Still, like I've like unless it was like, hey, you need to do this for something. Basically, multi-line strings is I can put 3. I remember before I would say like string is equal to this is a string, right? Clearly there are 2 quotations. There's one in the beginning, one in the end. Now, if I just had 3 quotations at the beginning and then 3 quotations at the end, basically everything that's inside of this is gonna be a string. So it's like the string begins here and it ends here. Yeah, basically it's just for multi-line strings. So like let's say you're writing a poem and you didn't want to use like formatting, yeah, or shit like that. See, this is literally a poem, and it's like it'll come out exactly how it is because it's like this is the beginning of the string, this is the end of the string. You also can use these with single quotes the same way. Oh my god, you can use single quotes the same way we have been doing things. You can actually, yeah, I think it has to be uniform. Does it have to be uniform? It does. So if I start with single quotes, I have to end with single quotes. If I start with double quotes, I have to end with double quotes. But it's essentially just creating like a poet kind of structure. So this is the poem they want us to do it. So I'm using the variable to you to save this multi-line string, and then I'm printing the variable to you, which should print all of this like a poem. And it does. Nah, it's just something that I never had to like really use it. And it's one of those things where it's like I would run into a specific task and I need to use it and I would forget. It's just like, alright, bro, the one time I need this dumb shit. Alright, so this is just a basic review. They want us to create these variables and yeah, create these variables and use them. So what can I set my age to be? Go back to the stream. So my half my age would be my age. My age divided by 2. Greeting. Greeting is equal to hello, which is a string. My name is equal to greeting with name. So greeting plus name. That's it. And then I can print all of them. Print greeting with name. Current age. Yo. Yeah. I'm trying. Print. What am I doing? Print my age, and I'm printing. Yeah. Things like this. Print half my age. Jesus Christ. Print half my age. So on and so forth. Yo, chat, what's up? So, basically, this is we just ran through what? We ran through the first part of Hello World, and then the rest I think is a quiz. Something else you gotta read up on. I think this one is another quiz, and then the last one's a project. Oh shit, I forgot. Oh yeah, you good. Alright. While you're doing that, I'm going to look up this meal kit. Ow. Nah, bro, I messed up my whole leg yesterday, dog. I got, so I was deadlifting with confidence for the first time in my life. I was deadlifting. God damn it, my mic. Yo. Do you hear me now? Yeah, I was deadlifting with confidence for the first time in my life. And after that, I went to go play ball. While I was hooping, somebody kneed me in my knee. Nigga, I don't care about none of this shit. I'm not paying none of this. Time out. This is why you don't sign up for nothing. Just give it to me for free again, like you did it before. Go back to the home page, yes. But I got kneed in my knee, and then I twisted my ankle badly. I had something to prove, bro. But how do I sign out of this? Because this should eat this much. Eat this much. Yeah, I cannot walk a lot. 2,500 calories in 4 meals. I do not eat fish. I did not know there was a Mediterranean diet. Feels 80s. God damn it, yo. Alright. So I'm gonna just steal everything from this website. Protein power. this is gross. Why would you eat oats and then